Hello and welcome back to Tie-Dye House, instructional videos on folding and dyeing tie-dye and other information about tie-dye and other processes that you can do with dye outside of tie-dye. Did a survey a little while back on if you'd rather see a fold on the Christian cross or the Volkswagen symbol. The Volkswagen symbol won that out, but I didn't really have one to fold at the time, so I do have a cross shirt, so I'm going to go ahead and do the cross shirt video for you. Things you'll need for this is a shirt. It's wet, has been washed and then soaked in soda ash for at least 15 minutes if your soda ash is fresh. Turned inside out. Pair of scissors. A pattern. This is made out of mylar. You can make it out of cardboard or plastic of some kind if you intend to use that over and over again. A marker. This is a washable marker. These ones are Crazy Art. The color doesn't really matter that you use. You can usually get these when school goes back, once they do the clearance at Walmart, for about 50 cents a pack. There's probably 8 or 10 of them in there. Cotton twine and a various group of rubber bands, different sizes. Yes. So the first thing you do on the cross pattern, this is a front and back pattern, so we'll just take and get this shirt folded in half. Lay the front down on the table, spread your shirt out, get the wrinkles out of it. Make sure that you do soak this in soda ash. If you don't, when you rinse this out, it's not going to hold the color. The soda ash actually is what binds the color to the fabric, so without that it's not going to hold. It's going to come out real light like some RIT dye. The soda ash, you can order it from any place that carries dyeing supplies. I also found that you can buy it at an agriculture store like Tractor Supply. You may be able to get it at Rural King. I get it at the co-op here locally. It comes in a 40-pound bag. I know that seems like a lot of soda ash, but the shelf life on that stuff's about 5 years. So if you plan to do a fair amount of tie-dyeing over the next, say, 5 years, that's definitely the better way to go as far as the cost ratio on it. That's what I do. So just take and fold this shirt in half. Get the shoulder seams lined up, and then your edge here. I always pinch it right here. Make sure there's no fold over of the fabric. If there is, just stick your hand in there until you know it's flat. Grab it down here at the bottom and pick it up. Shake it out, lay it back down. You want to feel along this edge here. If that's not perfectly flat, you need to get those wrinkles out that are in there, because it could definitely distort the pattern that you're folding. Okay, so there it is. It's flat. We're good on the edge here, good on the shoulders. You then take that pattern that you have, draw it out on here. You just eyeball how far you want it to go down. Really just depends on what size the shirt is. And take that marker and draw an outline around the pattern. You want to keep these lines clean here. You don't want extensions of lines going out either way. It's going to make it harder to fold, and it's going to be harder to figure out what's what when you go to dye it. You grab from the bottom. And what you're wanting to do here is just fold along that line that you've just drawn. So you'll have to make some corner turns here, specifically right at that bottom, and then make that turn and keep folding along the line until you get to this next turn, and you turn there, keep folding, come around, and I just swing my shirt around just to sort of keep it out of the way. You want these folds to be pretty flat, not too high, not too fat. Gets kind of tight once you get a little bit farther up near the top here. Just own it is what I say. You know, just grab the shirt and hold it tight, but you want to make sure that this part that you're holding doesn't fold, because when it does, it starts to unfold it and distort the pattern. So you just want to hold it tight, but not allowing it to buckle on you. Just keep the line, hold the line. It's a little tight. All right, we made that turn. We've got one more turn to make up here at the top. Turn that in, and that's what it should look like. Now you'll just take your twine, get some out there, slide that twine up underneath there, up under the shirt, and tie it on right along that line. You might have to use your thumbs to hold the fabric down so that it doesn't buckle on you as you snug the twine up. So just do that and make sure it stays tight. And there's your cross. That's the cross itself folded. From there I put a second tie so that I can separate, keep it from bleeding up too much into this part of it from what I do back here. So what I do to straighten this all out is I put my fingers across the pattern right along that string line, and I press down with my fingertips. So that way when I'm pulling the rest of this shirt out, none of this fabric gets pulled out with it, which if that happens, you'll likely have to refold all of this part up here. So again, put your fingertips down on the shirt and hold right along that line, press down as tight as you can, and then work these folds around, trying to get them even and low. You don't want fat folds here. It's going to be harder for the dye to get through the shirt, and it'll usually wind up running up the shirt. So we'll put another tie. I go about 1 inch to 1.5 inches from there. Just tighten that up, make sure it doesn't buckle. And then before, if you're buckling a little bit, before you cut these strings, you can kind of pull that back and, you know, get it to where it's flat. Then you cut the strings off. Now from there, all you've got left to do is to fold the body of the shirt. And we'll use rubber bands for the rest of this. The question came up as to why I only use string on this part, on the actual pattern itself, and then one back. Couple reasons. Twine is more expensive, for one thing. Number two, it's tedious to put string throughout all of this. With the rubber bands, you can just quickly slide them on. I take them off at the end of the process. A lot of people cut them, I don't. I pull them off, I put them in a netted bag, and when I wash the shirts, I just throw that netted bag in there. Don't put it in the dryer, but you know, you can run it through the wash safely. It gets them good and clean. There's no residue left over, and you can reuse them over and over again until they get too old and break on you. Alright, so just folding the rest of the shirt here. I am holding up here at that second string at this point, not really putting near as much pressure on there, but still holding it nonetheless, just in case. From there, you know, you can put my wrist down on that string and lay my hand down and pull the shirt down out this way. And what it'll happen here is that because your hand's there, that will form, you know, to the height of your hand that you're holding it, so your folds won't be so tall right out of the gate. And work this all around. Again, you want short folds. You don't want real fat stuff going on. That way, you know that you're not going to end up with a bunch of white when you dye it. Okay. So there's that. Just cleaning up the fold. Put a rubber band. See, that just slides right on. If I was trying to tie that, I mean, you saw tying it on and what that takes versus just sliding that rubber band on. Big difference. I'm going to use a different size rubber band here. It's a little bit bigger. Some people will take the rubber band and, you know, you can go in half with it. I always go like this with it so that it's even all the way around, so that when the rubber band goes on, it's not sort of janky. But with these rubber bands, because I've got this bigger size, I don't have to do that. I can just slide them on there, depending on where I'm at on the shirt and how thick and wide it is. Now I'm going to switch over to a blue rubber band. This is not as wide down here, so you don't want the rubber bands to fall off on you, so you want to get something a little bit tighter as you go. Okay, and just clean up this bottom part. Like that. And we've got one other rubber band size here. It's a pretty small one. We'll put a couple of those on the end here. Okay, so that's the cross folded. There it is, front and the back. We'll put this in a tote for now with a lid. If you don't want to leave it laying out somewhere for a long period of time so that the shirt ends up drying out on you. So I just put it in a plastic bin of some sort and put a lid on it until I'm ready to dye it. So that's the cross pattern folded. We'll do another video on the dyeing of it and the reveal, you know, what it looks like at the end. Hope that you check that out. If you like what you see here, we've got other videos up for folding different tie-dye patterns. If you like those and would like to be notified when we do live reveals or new videos are uploaded, go ahead and hit subscribe and turn your notifications on, and you will be notified when something new comes up. Again, this is Tie Dye House. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.